Well, let's start with Emily Davies, who has the latest from law enforcement. Emily?
Jeff, here's what we know so far. The sheriff is going to be speaking with us in just a moment to give us some updated information. Jeff, officers tell me that this is an area the couple is familiar with. The man's significant other says that this area down here is where they often walk. So when he left the house yesterday intoxicated and she didn't hear from him, she went looking. And then it is just tree after tree just like this, all the way down. With cameras at every corner, any incidents that may happen likely have video evidence now attached to it. Jeff and Amy, if this much snow fell in Wausau, Stevens Point, any of those places all at once, it would be snow chaos. But take a look down the street with me. It's completely calm as it's just another day in Guile. So I have $20 here. We're going to see how much we can get here at the farmer's market for $20 versus at the grocery store.
1, 2, 3.
Now, although I'm not actually injured, these kids are getting some hands-on experience and learning from the pros. But when he went to check things out, the room was empty. I know one of the traditions you said that we have is the $1 hot dog.
Right.
So that's not changing at all?
That's not changing, no.
News Channel 7's Emily Davies was on hand as the pool opened and joins us now via Local I-7 in Wausau. Looks like you are getting
Heather, here at Kaiser Pool, safety is of the utmost importance. As you can see, I'm taking a cue from the lifeguards here. The athletes here are not only flexing their muscles, but lifting up a community. Thanks for letting us come into your little outback here. So tell me about this little guy here. Who do we have here?
Gandalf, he's a red kangaroo male.
This is the old exhibit behind me. Now imagine it with an acre more added onto it. You can see over here the flags represent where the new exhibit and expansion is going to be. See, no matter which way you serve it up, a little volunteering can do everyone some good. There you have it. I was so inspired by all these people's courage that I had to give it a try myself. So Happy New Year. This is for the kids. In Nakusa, Emily Davies for News Channel 7.
Speaking of victories in the Republican Party, we're going to go to someone who has one tonight, and that is Emily Davies with Representative Sean Duffy. Emily? A selfie with the representative.
It's a very exciting time, as you can see. Just took a selfie with Sean Duffy. He just finished his victory speech not too long ago, doing selfies together. And as you can see, he's out of the flannel, into the suit. Now you got another term to run. How does that feel?
Listen, it feels great, and so great we're doing selfies together right as we're going live on Channel 7. Listen, it's fantastic. We had a great crowd out tonight. Everyone's excited about what's happening in the governor's race. Our race, we're excited about what's going on with Dave Heaton and Mandy Wright's race. It's fantastic.
Wausau just cut a deal to get some land mostly for parking downtown. They've been working to buy this plot from the Catholic Church for years. News Channel 7's Emily Davies joins us now live in the studio with the details. And Emily, I heard the Pope is getting involved in this?
Yeah, that's right, Jeff. This land is owned by the Church of Resurrection, and for Catholic property, it's actually normal protocol that it has to be signed and approved by the Pope. Little fun fact. So taking a look at where this is going to be taking place, we have Dudley Tower down here, and houses a lot of different businesses, and then it's going to be taking right here between 1st Street, 2nd Street, Grant, and McClellan. So taking a look at a street view now, earlier this week City Council approved the purchase for this land for $950,000. That money is coming out of a TIF fund. Council President Romy Wagner, says this is a prime spot for parking and will likely be used for businesses like the Dudley Tower, which is at parking capacity for its employees.
If we want more people to work down there, bring more businesses in, that we have to be able to have parking spaces to rent out to them.
Now the church is happy with this deal too, as they get some parking, a green space, and help grow the community.
We decided that we'd like to partner with the city to help, to make our downtown more vibrant and more healthy than it is. It's a very wonderful downtown, as you well know, but this will help.
They're also planning on expanding their church to create a family center between their church and parish office, making it an optimal time to make a deal. Now, half of this lot is going to be bought, and half of this is going to be leased from the church, and they're also thinking about adding in some shops between the parking structure, and I'll explain more about all this coming up new tonight on News Channel 7 at 10. Amy, as you said, music can do something that no other medicine can sometimes, and patients and hospital staff at Riverview Medical Center in Wisconsin Rapids say this harp is music to their ears. This is Sue Popelka and her heavenly harp, named after her mother.
I always tell them, this is Edna, and then I go wash my hands back there while they talk to Edna.
Throughout the week, the two wander the hospital halls looking for patients to play for.
We also get a lot of people asking for her to come back to other patients because they can hear it in the hallways.
It's all about the patients.
She's not there to cure them of their ills, but to provide them a moment of peace away from whatever ails them.
A good example with a dementia patient, I may start with something they know, and they will attach to it, and they'll smile, and they'll kind of tap their foot, and they'll be with it. But then I'll watch them slowly, maybe close their eyes, and they'll kind of lean back. And then I'll change it to meditational music and relaxation music. And then I'll see that they're probably getting ready to sleep, or they are sleeping, and then I'll change to a rhythmic music with no rhythm to it, just kind of a few notes here and a few notes there until I know they've had enough, and then I'll leave.
You might have a patient who's in pain or confused or anxious, and she comes on in, and you just get this nice, calming, soothing effect for the patient, and it's really quite miraculous.
I thought I would be helping them, but I didn't realize what it would do to me. You know, a cancer patient telling me this was the worst day of my life because I was told I'm terminal, but now it's been the best day of my life because you played show tunes for me, and for 10 minutes I took away the evilness of the world.
Music, dancing, and thousands of people having a good time are now expectations on Wausau's 400 block. But so are disruptive people.
I've seen drinking, I've seen fights, I've seen guys bad-mouthing this one and other ones bad-mouthing back and stuff, and I just feel that something has got to be done and straighten it out.
The city has been hearing complaints ever since redefining the block. Patrol Captain Matt Barnes says they are collecting that information, but often can't take immediate action.
We get people that a day or two later tell an officer or call the police department and say, this was my experience down there. And it's very difficult for us to retroactively go back and address that disorderly behavior that they saw and try and identify who that individual was.
Police are working with the City Public Health and Safety Committee to find a solution. For the next year, committee members want police to increase enforcement on the block.
Having the presence of the uniforms, Captain Barnes felt, and we agreed, that that's a good first step.
He may agree, but Barnes says it won't be enough.
The reality is we can't have a police officer, a community service officer, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week down in one square block of the city. We don't have the manpower to do that.
It's hard to get the manpower, to get people, but we need it, we need it.
Adding surveillance cameras is one solution.
But just some of the cameras.
Police Captain Carl Glady says Madison went through similar problems with its high-trafficked areas 12 years ago.
Fights, disturbances, there were some stabbings, some shots fired calls that when our officers would get there, nobody saw anything, nobody was willing to provide any information, and the likelihood of resolving those incidents was very minimal because we weren't getting the cooperation.
Glady says whether or not installing cameras was an invasion of privacy was the City Council and public's biggest concern.
The counter to that is in a public space, everything we do is being observed, whether it be on camera or by other people. So what we're doing is public.
Police had a year to try out one camera and show council its value to the city. Now there are around 150 city cameras, along with thousands of private business cameras throughout Madison. With cameras at every corner, any incidents that may happen likely have video evidence now attached to it.
The cameras have been instrumental in putting the pieces together for a lot of crimes.
He says the 2012 Monty Ball case is one success story. In August, the Badger running back was attacked while walking back to his apartment from downtown with his friends at night.
Utilizing the cameras, after getting some basic witness statements, we were able to find the descriptions of the suspects on a multitude of both city and private cameras, and were able to identify them.
Captain Barnes says that's how cameras would be used here. He and the committee also believe it would deter disruptive behavior. Wagner says cameras like News Channel 7's Downtown Skycam already have.
When the people find that there is a camera shining down on the 400 block, different ones of these people have shied away from
hanging out on the 400 block.
And for those who still act, rewind is only a click away.
Being able to go backwards and see exactly what happened, and then be able to share that information with the public in order to get their assistance in investigating these cases is the future of law enforcement.
Some fear Big Brother, but leaders assure an eye in the sky would be there so you can feel secure to dance like no one's watching. In Marathon County, Emily Davies, News Channel 7. 322,000 Fiat Chrysler sedans are being recalled worldwide due to side airbags that can accidentally inflate if doors are slammed too hard. The recall covers certain Dodge Chargers from the 2011 to 2014 model years, mainly in the U.S. and Canada. The company says the airbag control modules may be too sensitive and need to be recalibrated. 3 minor injuries were reported from the problem. Owners will be notified when they can bring cars in for repairs. In the meantime, the company says people should use caution when closing doors. Also new this morning, what started as a test drive in Glendale soon turned into a carjacking, then police chase, then a car crash, and ending it all in a shootout. Glendale police say 28-year-old man was test driving a black Porsche when he pulled a gun on the dealership's employee. The employee got out of the car and the driver took off. Police say officers chased him into Milwaukee's north side, which ended when the driver crashed the Porsche and took off running into a nearby park. Police followed, exchanging gunfire. A bullet grazed an officer's head, and the 36-year-old officer has since been released from the hospital. Kids were in the park during the shooting, but no one was hurt. The driver is in custody facing charges. Hey Holly, do you remember?
Remember what?
The 21st of September, because it's today.